Hi, you're on Rescue TV. I am delighted to welcome back Dr. John Demartini, human behavioural specialist and the author of The Values Factor, one of the most important books to help you discover all the possibilities of life, and one that I refer to very regularly. And today I want to know how to diffuse an argument, whether it be in a personal situation or in a work situation.
Well, probably the wisest thing to do is to keep your mouth quiet. This is not to start one. But if you...
You know me well enough to know that that can be...
I'm not talking about you specifically, but anybody. But if you find yourself in an argument, the wisest thing to do is to listen. Because most people, when they're communicating or trying to communicate, will reveal to you what you can say next in order to diffuse an argument. And you also want to make sure that you stick to the facts, not the opinions. When you're communicating with people, if you go with objective information instead of subjective biased information, you have less defenses. And also to make sure that you are clearly stating your views and calmly stating, because if you're calm, they'll tend to stay calm and they won't get riled up. The second you get righteous, opinionated, and really subjectively biased in your perspective, they automatically initiate a defense mechanism, and we start a whole escalation of an argument. So the wise thing to do is be calm, be objective, listen very carefully, state the facts, not just emotional stuff.
And do you have any advice on how to change your state? Because the very fact that you are in an argument suggests that you've probably flipped your lid a little bit. So do you have any tips on how to kind of catch yourself before that elevation of state happens?
Well, realize that everybody has a different view, different vantage point in the world. And no two people's views are the same. So you're never going to have the same person see, two people have the exact same views. But it is wise to stop, take a deep breath, slowly exhale, which calms down the physiology. Stop and think of the facts before you speak. There's no reason you can't pause and think, make sure that you're saying something that you know you can objectively demonstrate. Nobody can really argue with objective facts. They can argue with your opinions. And so if you just keep self-righteously projecting your opinions onto things, you're going to get an escalation. But if you just keep the facts and care enough to communicate in their values, think about what's important to their life. If they're having children, their focus is children. If they have business, business is important. If education is, whatever's important to them, if you think of ways of communicating in a way where they're going to get ideas that can help them fulfill their life, they calm down and they're less likely to escalate into an argument.
Can you give an example of how that might work in a personal argument, communicating to your partner's values, whether it be your male partner or female partner? Can you give an example?
Well, I've seen this in couples, and he will be thinking in terms sometimes of business, although sometimes she's thinking in business. I've seen it both ways.
Sure.
And she may be thinking of the kids, if they have kids. It depends on their age. And if he's thinking about, and say, well, we need to do this because it's going to help our business, it's going to help our finances, it's going to help us, she's not hearing it. Because she's thinking, well, what about the kids, and what about me, and what about the family, and what about relationships, and what about health, and what about social interactions? Whatever's valuable to her, if he's neglecting that and not caring enough to bring that into the conversation, she shuts down further and feels unheard.
So what would be an example? So if a man is communicating to a woman who is really valuing family and the social interactions and the children, what could be some ways that he could, in that argument, diffuse the situation by introducing some of her values into the conversation?
Well, let's just say that he has a business that is he's going to be home late, and he's going to continue to do that because he's working on a project. And she's wanting him home to be there with the kids,
yes,
to make sure he knows his kids.
I'm sure this happens a lot.
We don't have to put a sign on the kids, say this is your son's name. If he goes and says, honey, I really am thinking about you, I care about you, I care about the kids, and I know for the future of the children and their education and their health and the lifestyle that we both want, if I do these few hours in the evening now, we'll be able to have more time in our future. And so I want to make sure that the kids have the best education, because I don't want them to ever not have the greatest opportunities. And I know that you deserve to have your beauty and your shopping and the things that you love doing, and this allows us to have all of that. And so I just want to take a few extra hours to get this project done. It'll mean a lot to me, and I think it'll help everybody in the family. And I'm doing this for me, but I'm also doing it because I really see that in the future we'll have a greater life. If he talks in terms of her wins,
it's true. I mean, even listening to you, I can hear that script is immediately diffusing.
Is diffusing.
Yeah.
Can I share a funny one?
Yes.
I was many years ago when I was married to Athena. I would sometimes be gone for a month at a time, and I would be going to city, and we were living in New York at the time. And I told Athena, I could go to her and I'd say, well, I'm going to be gone, for a month, so I'll try to call you. I'll see you when I can. High five. See you later, babe. See you later. Have a good one. That's probably going to,
break up the relationship.
I'll get castrated, and I'll have a knife in my back. But if I communicate like I learned to do, and she learned to do, I'd hold her in my arms, and I'd look in her eyes, and I would say, just hold her for a minute, and says, I'm going on another tour. I'm going to generate somewhere close to $500,000.
I'm going to spend it all on you.
Is there any way you could coordinate a rendezvous in Venice in 30 days? Because I want us to share this.
Where's your brother again? Huh?
But I'd like to know if you'd like to meet me in Venice, because we have a friend that helps coordinate a nice visit, nice tour. Mm-hmm. Can you coordinate that and just have it? I want us to go shopping. I want us to go and have a romantic time and just have some days just to ourselves and celebrate that we had this really beautiful month at work, and also just let's have a fantastic time. If I talk in terms of what she's wanting, she gives me freedom. If I don't consider that, she would make my life very challenging. So people, when their values are being met, they open up and they're receptive. When their values are not being met, they close down and get more rigid. And the arguments come from the rigidity, not from the flexibility. So communicating people's values, you go farther, and you diffuse conflicts before they begin.
It's such good advice. Can you can you give a live example in a business setting? So say, for example, you're having conflict with an employee or an employer. What could be a script that you could use in terms of tapping into their values?
I'll give a real one. I had a lady Linda, that used to work for me. Mm-hmm. She had a daughter. She was a single parent, and her daughter was the most important value. And also, because she was single, meeting nice-looking guys also was pretty high. Mm-hmm. But her daughter was in equestrian and studying horses and wanted to be a vet. And she was going to school and had a special event on. But I had a very big event in Las Vegas where about 9,000 people were going to be there, and I was going to speak. And I really wanted her to be there to help sell products and things of this nature. So there was a little conflict because her daughter had an event and I had an event. And I wanted her to be at my event, but I didn't want her to lose on her event. So I thought in advance, and I sat down for about 30 minutes and thought about all the things that she could win if she was to go to Las Vegas
with you.
So I said, well, first of all, there's an equestrian school. I looked it up on the internet. There's an equestrian school there. There's a top-notch equestrian school and a veterinary school there. I said, and I thought, there's 9,000 people are going to be there. 40% of them to 50% of them are going to be eligible guys. I told her if she comes, I'm speaking on a Friday, she can stay till Saturday and Sunday afternoon. I'll pay for the extra couple of days. She can bring her daughter. She can get a percentage of whatever we sell, and we'll put it towards her education.
Wow.
And she can go and visit on Saturday that school. And I just kept stacking up things that make her worth it. And she said, I'll work it out. I'll talk to my daughter. I'll tell her about the possibility of that school, and we'll be there. So I cared enough to communicate what I wanted in terms of what she wanted and what was valuable to her. And we both got what we wanted. And so it's caring enough to do that. It took me about 25, 30 minutes to think out what I was going to say and put it together. But the way I said it, it was a way where everybody won. And I think that's the difference in business or in personal. Yeah. Caring enough to communicate in other people's values and not doing it with a self-righteous, my opinions and my values are more important than yours and my ideas are more important than yours. But to level the playing field, it makes people receptive and open, and you can have a dialogue, not an alternating monologue.
Thank you so much. I think those were some of the clearest and best tips for diffusing an argument in any situation. I really appreciate it, and I know our readers will too.